Hello and welcome to yet another compact episode of the Audiophile Man. And who's up on death row for this particular episode? Well, we have an all-in-one, strictly speaking, I suppose, a streaming amplifier from the UK outfit Ruark. It's a dinky little thing, taking up a small footprint of 95mm by 300 by 280mm, with a neat 4.1 kilogram weight. Then again, despite the small size, it's also packed with features. Inside the box is a 75-watt Class D amplifier, plus Wi-Fi 802.11, Bluetooth, and a bare brown DAC that supports up to 32 bits and 384 kHz. The power supply itself is internal. It has a clover leaf power cable socket on the rear. Vinyl fans, I'm sure, will be happy to see a built-in moving magnet phono amplifier. There's a range of streaming services also built in, such as Qobuz Connect, Spotify Connect, Tidal Connect, Amazon Connect, Amazon Music, Deezer, AirPlay 2, and Google Cast. You also get DLNA and UPnP, which means you can connect to media servers or NAS devices on the same network. This being Ruark, well, Ruark likes the radio. I like radio, so I approve. And in that vein, you get DAB and DAB+, plus the old faithful real radio, FM. And you get that via the external telescopic aerial. Nice to see one of those on the back of an all-in-one. For your radio, you get 20 presets, and the whole box is controlled by the company's notable rotodial remote, which is in this case connected via Bluetooth. One note, there is no app support, which might be an issue for some. Personally, it doesn't bother me. I'm very happy to use the remote instead. Oh, and there's no headphone amplifier built into this box. The front includes a very nice 5-inch TFT screen in blazing Technicolor. That's on the left. On the right are those neat little wooden lamellars, which add a retro feel to the whole thing. The top features another rotodial, and that's the built-in control interface, and that basically copies the layout on the remote. Because of that topmost control interface, just be a bit careful where you install the R610 in terms of vertical shelf space, and if you have designs on using the built-in interface for control. The rear of the unit also includes a subwoofer output, HDMI eARC for AV use, Ethernet, a pair of RCA inputs and outputs, a small rocker power switch. There's a USB-C port specifically there if you wish to add an external Ruark CD transport, the RCD100. That's not included in this review. I did not get one for review, but it is an option if you want one. Oh, and there are speaker ports. Now this is important because unlike other Ruark units in the range, this particular unit, the R610, does not include built-in speakers. You have to add your own external models. And that is basically the techie overview. Question is, how does it sound? Let's have a little listen. Now this is essentially a streaming amplifier, so I thought I'd look at the streaming features immediately, and I hooked up the R610 to my Twonky server via my laptop, and I played a selection of Nick Drake and Tom Waits at 24-bit 96K. I also hooked up the R610 to my Spendor S3 5R2s. These are stand-mounted speakers, and they were my transducer of choice in terms of reference, mainly because the Spendors, well, they're well-behaved and disciplined, so if the Ruark is going to waver left or right, I'm going to hear it. Question is then, did the R610 misbehave in any way? Answer to that, not at all. It was in fact just as disciplined and just as polite as the speakers hanging off them. So I heard a restrained yet solid bass line, a well-mannered upper mid-range with plenty of detail on offer, and an informative treble. Everything performed very well indeed, without issues, without any real negatives. No nasties, no disorderly bass boom, no smearing across the mid-range. This neutrality will appeal to many people out there. I certainly liked it. Now, you may remember that I recently reviewed Ruark's new Saber-R speakers. I'll put a little link above if you missed that. I'll put a link below in the description if you prefer to read the website version. Thing is, I wondered how the Saber-Rs would perform with this box. More than that, the Saber-Rs are, how can I put this? Anything but neutral. They are exuberant, they are full of energy and high-spirited. Everything, in fact, that the R610 is not. So, retaining the twonky server, I hooked everything together, played some music, and how do I describe this? Well, imagine a guy named Bob. He's sitting in the quiet of his house, the silence broken only by the ticking of his grandfather clock and the rustle of a turning page as he begins Chapter 3 of Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. He proceeds with a slow care. Suddenly, a brightly clothed and boisterous Kevin throws open the door with such force it bounces off the wall behind. He roars into the room, lifting the aging dust off the mantelpiece as he storms past. Aiming towards Bob, he grabs his arm and he shouts at the top of his voice, We are going dancing! Woohoo! Bob is forcibly dragged out of the house and into the darkness. Destination, fun. That, my friends, that is how the Saber-R speakers affect, change and uplift the R610 all-in-one streaming amplifier. These speakers provide dynamic pizzazz to the overall sound. They add definition to the mid-range. They add power to the bass and space around the treble. The combination, irresistible. In short, the Saber-Rs are meant for the R610. They are destined to be together with the R610. The Saber-R speakers and the R610 is a marriage made in heaven. Roll credits. Also, as much as I like the supplied speaker cables, and yes, I didn't mention this, did I? You are supplied with some freebie speaker cables in the box. A very nice touch by Ruark. I heartily approve of this kind of thing. And they're very nice, they're good performers, especially for freebies. However, an upgrade will pay dividends. I plugged in, for example, a pair of QED Golden Anniversary XT cables, and they did add space, they added air into the mid-range, they enhanced the transients, the accuracy during starting and stopping of notes. They also added bass punch. Well worth the upgrade. Next, I checked some of the supplied internet services, notably Kobo's and BBC Radio 6 Music via internet radio. Both performed well, providing a balanced but still lively presentation, which the R610 controlled perfectly. Internet services, I find, can sometimes overreach, losing frequency control. The R610 prevented that. Now, that sense of control also worked very well with Bluetooth, and I listened to Pink Moon from Nick Drake at 24-bit 96K via the aptX HD codec. Now, if you know my reviews in the past, you will understand that the aptX HD codec, or aptX anything, not a favourite of mine. Not especially. But I have to say, the R610 transcended that codec to apply a strict discipline to the Bluetooth output with the Saber-R speakers added. The result was a sheen of vitality and life to this particular song. Finally, I turned to Crazy in the Heart, a vinyl LP via Peggy Lee, and I plugged in my Audio-Technica LP5 turntable into the built-in moving magnet Phono Amp. And this Phono Amp performed very well indeed for a freebie. Sure, it's not perfect, but built-in Phono amps rarely ever are. This one was maybe a little thin in the mids, maybe the treble is slightly rolled off just a tad, but really, well, I'm nitpicking, I suppose. This built-in unit will be perfect for those who enjoy occasional vinyl use, or a great stopgap for dedicated vinyl fans saving for an external unit. And folks, that's basically the review of the Ruark R610 streaming amplifier, all in one unit. Call it what you will. Let me give you a few final thoughts. I'll give you some pros and cons too, and then I'll give you a rating. The Ruark R610 is a great looking piece of hi-fi. It'll fit easily into your home decor, it'll please all the members of your family, and it won't frighten the horses with any outlandish angles or tweakery. The footprint is low, so it won't take up too much room in your home. It's ideal for small houses, for flats, apartments, and bedsits, while the wealth of features will put a smile on the faces of most music fans. That you can later add a Ruark CD transport only adds to the fun. As it stands, the sound of the R610 is both restrained and neutral, and that presentation style, all on its own, will please many people out there. But if you add a pair of Saber-R speakers to your R610, well, that little box suddenly becomes the life and soul of the party. It's great to have that, how can I put it, that kind of EQ choice, I suppose. I love the sound either way, I have to be honest, but I also love the price, which offers great value. And that's why the Ruark R610 is a very easy recommendation indeed, a quite brilliant piece of hi-fi style and hi-fi technology from this UK outfit. And that's it folks, thanks for staying to the end of this particular review. Can I ask you before you go, just down below, can you click on the like and subscribe buttons please? Just helps the old channel, you know, how things go, algorithm, all that jazz. Plus I'll put a Ruark link or links, haven't decided yet, down here. So click on those. I have my own links too. If you can support me on Patreon, that would be very, very, very welcome indeed. Lots of goodies over there if you want to check them out. I also have a website over there too. I'll put a text version of this review over there. Not just yet, but very soon. And what else have we got? Facebook group. I've got one of those and you're welcome to join that. I'll be back when? End of next week. I'll be back Friday, Saturday, probably with hi-fi news, and there'll be my latest trivia question, so check that out. So I hope to have your company. Until then folks, bye bye for now.